Hi there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of unique spaces and showcase stories of people building alternatively. Today's episode is all about affordability and ingenuity because we're going to be taking a look at one family who built 3 cabins on their property for under $4,000. They're going to take us on a tour of each unique cabin and explain how they were able to do this on such a tight budget. But before we jump right in and take a closer look at these cabins, a special thanks goes out to this week's sponsor, Jackery. This is the Jackery Explorer 1000 Plus power station. It has the capacity of 1,260 watt hours and an output of 2,000 watts. We'll be able to see how much electricity we're using and how long this battery capacity will last using the display on the front and the smart app. And on the back of the unit, you can charge it with solar panels, you can charge it with your car, or you can charge it by plugging it into any outlet. What's great about using a solar generator and solar panels is that effectively you're getting free electricity because you can recharge using the sun. It's also better for the environment than a traditional gas-powered generator, and it's absolutely silent and emission-free. And I really like Jackery's products because they last a really long time. This one in particular has an LFP battery with up to 4,000 charge cycles. Search for the Jackery 2000 Plus, the Jackery 1000 Plus, or the Jackery 300 Plus to learn more, or you can find out more information about their new products via the links in the description.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hey guys, we're Garrett and Nala, and welcome to the Hohnstead. We bought the property in 2010. It was just bare land, not even roads, no septic, no electricity. So we started to kind of transition into like, hey, maybe we can do more with less.
I'm a city girl. I was so intimidated, but as it turns out, over the years, we have both learned and acquired new skills and got new confidence from doing these things ourselves, learning a lot from YouTube, learning a lot from mom and dad. In the end, we feel kind of badass.
And that confidence gave us the confidence to like start lives anew, quit our jobs, do this, rely on ourselves. So it's been a really cool journey thus far.
The Hohnstead started off as a family plot, which we have self-built into a glamping resort.
We try to give each unit like its own little flavor. For design, I'm always thinking about what can I get at Home Depot or Lowe's that's store-bought, that doesn't have to be custom. With custom, usually becomes more expensive. If I can't get it store-bought, can I mill it on the mill, which we do a lot of that here. Try to keep it simple and build around that. We got a taste of the frugal nature. We realized that we could, with a little bit of planning, getting on Marketplace, getting on Craigslist, find stuff for cheap. So then we took it and went to the A-frame, $700 for that. When we ran out of recycled stuff and we built the blind, we had to pay out for everything brand new, and that was about $2,000. That would be one of our more expensive ones, but there was no reclaimed material on the blind. And then the shed, I couldn't tell you honestly because I can't remember, it was a really long time ago. Maybe $1,000 for 150 square feet. We do good at planning, picking up deals when we can and then putting it together, and then any sort of scrap from one project kind of is the genesis of another project. I guess maybe a message to people is, hey, maybe there's more than 9 to 5 and the 30-year mortgage, and we're living proof that you can do that. This is the $700 A-frame, and we made it with a ton of recycled materials. Reclaimed hits include these big, huge logs down there. I made the staircase from a chainsaw. Pretty simple, it just takes a little bit of time. The composite was an upgrade after we had our 2x6s that were starting to look pretty weathered, but the 2x6s again become joists for other projects, so it's another way that we save. Tongue and groove here. My dad's got a sawmill, so I make a lot of trim and non-structural boards from fallen dead on the property, so that goes a long way. Deer antlers, of course, deer shed their antlers. I don't have to kill a deer every time a door is made. Over here in the rigging system, store-bought lumber, but the header is milled, again from the sawmill. So that makes for a pretty cheap project. Otherwise on the internet, you're gonna see examples of people using a single 2x4 to have this up, or PVC, which is kind of janky. And this is quite safe and sturdy. So that's a feature that we're really proud of on the A-frame. I can't take credit for the rigging system. The design of the A-frame itself is by Deke Dietrichson. We bought the plans from him, it was 30 bucks, we didn't have to do any thinking, and we cranked it out in 3 weeks. But the rigging system, we got this here, it works off some pulleys and some ropes and a hook there. You pull it down 3 times. It's not that heavy, anybody can do it. And when you go around these clips 3 times, it's really the perfect height because it's slightly over 6 feet for tall people, but it is low enough that it is pointing down for gravity. So if you do get a rain, it sheds rain downward. So it really, really expands your living area by giving you the 270-degree deck, the inside on nice days or not so nice days. And then we have over here, we have a private little hangout area that has hammocks and chairs. So we feel like it's a nice little area just for you to be you. Inside the A-frame, I'll give you the quick MTV cribs tour. It's pretty short. If we needed store-bought lumber, we wanted to build to those dimensions and not have a lot of waste. So it is 8 foot wide here. We use sheets of OSB, no cuts necessary. For the beds, made out of cabinet board, that's kind of a little bit expensive, but versus buying something off the shelf, it's quite a bit cheaper. Pergo, your 99-cent per square foot special. Over here is a countertop, which again, milled on the old man's mill. Coleman cook stove. Remember, we are in a kind of glamping situation. So just a little propane stove, 2 gallons of drinking water to get you started, and a little basin to water the plants afterward. Otherwise, pretty simple. I can talk about the solar. We got a 100-watt solar panel and a little charge controller up top. Single light and DC charge port. So very, very basic, but enough to kind of feel comfortable out in the woods. Even though the A-frame is only 80 square feet, we try to pack as much utility and function in it as possible. A nice little touch that we put in the A-frame, because it is so small, is we included storage in the beds down here. It's on a hinge, it flips up. Every little bit of storage helps in small spaces. All right, finishing up with the A-frame, we're gonna head about 125 yards down the hill to the blind. We call it the blind because it serves as a hunting blind during the fall. 100-watt solar panel up here, which is standard at the Hohnstead. We built it with both sides being translucent so both people could see the stars at night, and we do actually have one of the walls that does open and the other one is stationary. There's a wraparound deck here that gives you a tremendous view of the mountain down there. We've got a handrail here. This handrail on top is removable during hunting season for obvious reasons. And just a simple little hangout area, a couple chairs here, and a table, because when you have a view like this, what more do you really need? For the A-frame, we had some ribbed polycarbonate, which actually does stand up pretty well, but for the blind here, I just have this 8x4 sheet. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And when we bought it 5 or 6 years ago, when we built this, it was 120 bucks. When this goes, and it is almost ready to go, we're gonna replace it with that wavy polycarbonate because this stuff is super brittle. So we're gonna sacrifice some visibility because this stuff is awesome to look through, but it's just not very durable. Up top, to make the transition from the sheet metal down to this, I have some conveyor belt. It's actually for conveyor belts, and it was remnant scrap. I think it was damn near free. It might be 3/16 of an inch, and this is the best thing I found after all research because it's stiff enough where the wind won't take it. It's UV resistant, but it's not so stiff where it impedes the wall coming up and down. So can't sing this praise enough. Conveyor belt for thresholds in between sheet metal and polycarbonate. All right, let's head inside the blind. Much like the A-frame, both beds are made out of cabinet board, and one is stationary and the other one is on casters, and they clip together. Unless it was a long ride from wherever you're coming from, then you can keep them apart as well. Same Coleman cook stove here, 2 gallons of water, coffee and tea. I got that live edge again from the sawmill, free countertop. After you stain it, maybe it's a couple bucks. Some electronic components are exactly the same, 100-watt solar panel, single light, single charge controller, and then we got charge ports like the 12-volt DC so you can charge your tablets or your phones. Otherwise, the commons area has AC power. As far as the battery goes, I just use a little motorcycle battery, and that during the summertime proves to be enough, just people charging their phones, which take like 5 watts of power. It's really next to nothing. The defining feature here is that this one comes up and it is hydraulic piston assist. These pistons actually come off a hatchback of a Tercel wagon car. So it helps you open it up here, and depending on the weather, if it's hot, you get a little bit more push out of the piston, and if it's not, it's a little lower, but that's part of the fun. So yeah, you get nice ventilation here. The other wall stays locked down, but this is plenty of visibility and plenty of airflow.
Most of our cabins are off-grid.
We got electricity in 2017. We have a nice kitchen in the commons area, has about everything you could ever need. Other common areas include a hot tub. You wouldn't expect that out here, but it's one of the first things we got when we got electricity, as well as restroom, fire pit, barbecue, probably 2-to-1 hammocks to person out here is pretty obscene. So really kind of doubled down on the hanging out and relaxing, because that's what we're all about. This is the shed, which is attached to the commons area. It's at the back of a lean-to where we park 2 cars. Since we only need about 25 feet for 2 cars, we thought we'd throw something here. And this is where the shed was born. It actually covers a root cellar, which was the primary purpose. As far as DIY, you can see that we use some sheet metal. It's got a bunch of holes in it. It was from a blowdown from my sister. So it's just a great way to make use of something that we couldn't use as a roof because it would leak. So let's go inside. Okay, coming into the shed, first thing as far as DIY goes, we got this beautiful door. It was a kind of a deck that my sister had, and I liked the way it aged, so I started pulling up boards because she wasn't using it. Make a door. I think I've made 3 or 4 doors out of the same catwalk here. This is the shed, and we kind of consider it our luxury unit. Not only is it the biggest of the 3 that you'll tour today, it has amenities that the other off-grid ones don't, such as a little mini air conditioner here. We have electric lights, mini fridge, coffee maker that's electric as well, TV behind you there, and access to the internet. Over here we have a projector, just a nice little touch because we can, and it projects onto the wall over there. Over here, we got the bed frame, just lumber I got hanging around, like different pieces that aren't a full 8 foot that I can't use for other projects. So these make for super cheap bed frames. Design-wise, we were thinking about, hey, how can we put a bed in here, utilize the space the most, because you got the header here, obviously at about 5 feet, but how much space do you really need when you sleep? So we tucked the bed under there, we put the TV back there, which allows for you to fully stand up past the header here and enjoy futon, and a little spindle table, and our garden view over there. So I had these reclaimed windows from my sister's trailer, and I just started using them until basically I ran out here, and this is how much space I had left. So I made another one of those doors, if you can shimmy through. So let's go outside and check out the garden view and the nice little deck we got. So outside of the shed, we have our little composite deck here, which we share in our little apartment. Nice little hangout area here for coffee and tea. We do have a garden here. We're trying our best. 4,000 feet, a lot of rocks and a lot of clay, but it's a work in progress, and soon, hopefully, we'll have a beautiful, beautiful garden. Until then, we get to grow these hops and just enjoy their presence. For me, the homestead and the cabins allowed me to enjoy the property even more than I would have on bare land. I know the true meaning of labor of love now after working the land and seeing how slow incremental progress can be.
Every summer, we just build more and we fell in love a little bit more. It's hard to vacation now for us because this place is so peaceful and so remote. We're so proud to be living here. Thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And if you're interested in more affordable cabin builds, check out the playlist we have linked in the description.